Oh, this light is too far back. That emphasize. Okay, that's better with the lighting. Let me send this out. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in, come on in. I hope that y'all are well. Happy Feminine Friday. Happy Feminine Friday. Let me send this out. Thank you for the gift. Happy Feminine Friday. And let me see. Let's send those out. Do me a favor and put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly. Put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly. I didn't even fix the title. So the title of this is not actually the title of what I'm going to be talking about today. The title of what I'm going to be talking about today is called Stop. I don't want to say it wrong because I went over it a couple of times in my mind to make sure that I was saying it the way I wanted to say it. But to stop praying for new wine and old wineskins. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Stop praying for new wine and old wineskins. Okay, and new wine could look like that prosperous relationship. It could look like a lot of money. It could look like a multitude of things. But you're going to have to stop asking for something that you really don't have the capacity for. And so that's what we're going to dive deep into today. Because for many people are celebrating like, oh, it's my new time, it's my new year, it's this, it's that, or whatever. If you've been following me for a while, you already know, basically my stance on, I don't necessarily feel like this is the new year. The new year starts in spring because, that's the way the Most High created things from my studies, right? So this time frame that everybody is feeling so hyped and everybody's like, oh my God, I got to get this done. I got to do this. I got to do that. This is the perfect time for you to take these 90 days so you really can step into the new year. Okay. When the spring hits, you really can really step into, because the thing is, a lot of people don't realize the connection between seasonal depression around springtime, and not just winter, but also springtime as well. And a lot of that has to do with how well you take care of yourself in the winter and in the fall. Okay, so a lot of these things are very much so connected. One of the things about me is that I am a person of rhythm and synchronicity. Your body runs on cycle, times runs on cycles. We run on cycles. So you can't violate your own science. And so I'm going to really tap into that today. So if you've been wanting to jump timelines, I'm going to explain what time is. I'm going to explain what time loops are and why you keep repeating them. I'm going to explain how to jump timelines if that's something that you really want to do. So this is the perfect time for you to be doing this from January to March. Okay? So this is going to take you really doing some work, though. So if you're not really ready to do that work, this is not going to be for you. I'm going to just be honest with you, okay? For those who do not know who I am, and this is your first time here, my name is Elle Antoinette. I'm a psychological identity strategist, okay? So as a psychological identity strategist, I specifically work as a guide. Basically, I work as a guide with high capacity women to support them in stopping self-abandonment under pressure through feminine science, okay? And why do I teach that, and why is that so important? Because a lot of women tend to build their lives, build their relationships, and build their careers based on a very fractured, a very fried nervous system. And when they have a breakdown, because as much as people, I'm about to break down, y'all forgetting the other part, it's called a nervous breakdown. You do realize that, right? Been hearing stuff all your life and never really put the connection together. You're literally having a nervous breakdown because you have been rolling on a fried nervous system. Do you understand? And if you don't believe me, like, you can go on in a very, let me tell you something about the way the Most High created and designed our vessels. Our vessels are so unique that we can live for such a long time and such amount of years without even getting the proper nutrition. And if you don't believe me, I want you to think about children that you may have seen that grew up that were eating processed food growing up the entire time. They never really grew up and they ate real food. And now these individuals who were being fed like that are now adults. And you want to sit around and question why they can't critically think? You want to question why they certain things and they have development issues? The vessel was so intelligently designed that we can go on for a long time before we really break down. But the reality of the situation is there's going to be a breakdown. If there's not a rewiring of the nervous system, you're going to have a nervous system breakdown. Okay? And you don't know how that's going to show up for you. That can show up for you in the form of autoimmune disease. That can show up for you in a multitude of ways. You don't want to find out. You don't want to find out. So you want to do the necessary work. So in order for you to do the necessary work, you're going to have to stop. And I do mean stop praying for new wine when you ain't ready to get rid of them old skins. Because that's what we're going to talk about today. You're not going to get what you want by continuing to abandon yourself. You're not going to get what you want by continuing to people please. I don't care that you've made all this money. I don't care that you've grown and you're the cycle breaker. You've done all these amazing things in your world. If you don't prioritize yourself, you are not going to thrive in this current era that we have entered into. You are not going to thrive. But I'm only speaking to the women who desire to thrive. I'm only speaking to the women who want to thrive. Those are the only ones I'm speaking to. Okay? So, in order for you to thrive, there are 3 key things that are going to be very important before I tap into what we're talking about. Okay? Number 1, you need to understand spiritual law. Yes, there are systematic things that are put in place to, position you to be, to hinder you, whatever the case may be. But that only goes as high or works if your thinking is low. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. If your thinking is low, if you are in a space where you lack belief, you're going to believe that in every scenario, you're the victim. The corporate position that you have, now the money you make in, like all these different things, like all these things, okay? You're going to find your identity in these things. And when you lose these things, there's going to be a big issue. There's going to be a big problem. You cannot identify yourself with things that you do. We have entered into an era. It's not what you do, baby. It's about to be who you are. You don't believe me? If you don't believe me, think about the disdain that you have, a lot of you have for these celebrities. That their stories are coming out about the disgusting things that they've done. Now I don't want to listen to their music. I don't want to do this. I don't want to support them. I don't want to do that. See, you don't care what they do, huh? You don't care what they did. You don't care about them bops. You don't care about all the, music and all the fun times. And you don't care about none of that, do you? Because you figured out who the person is behind that. So now you're disgusted by it. You're disgusted by it. Okay? So what does that mean? We have entered, that's a perfect example of how we have entered into the era of it is not what you do, baby. It's who you are. And the problem is a lot of women don't know who they are. Hi, Lovey. Hold that question for me towards the end. I promise I'm going to answer it. Don't let me forget, okay? But I got you. Women don't know who they are. And when I tell you this is not the year to not know who you are, because the next 2 years after this, see, this year is I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it in a way that's not going to get me banned. So I'm going to pause on that. But this ain't the year for you not to know who you are. This is not the year to not know who you are. So I'm coming directly with you on this. I'm going to give you the information you need. I'm going to teach you and what you need to know about time jumping. Now, this is what I ask of you. Like I said, let me get these laws out for you first. Spiritual law, in order for you to thrive, so you can create your own reality. The second thing is understanding the science of yourself, meaning understanding that you run cyclical. You don't run linear like men. You are in sync with your cycle. You understand your cycle. You know when it's coming. And it's not because you feel in certain things. You should be able to look at the elements and know what's going on with your body because you can. There's a connection there. Everything I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. Okay? So understanding the science of yourself is extremely important, because when you understand how you operate, you will stop working against yourself. The reason why it's easy for you to violate yourself as a woman is because you don't understand your design. You don't understand the power in protecting your design. And so therefore you don't do it. So you get used up. And your narrative is always that you are a victim. In every experience, you're a victim in the corporate realm. You're a victim with men. You're a victim in friendships realities. You can't trust nobody. It's nothing. The truth is you can't trust yourself because you don't know yourself enough to protect yourself. Because we protect what we deem to be valuable. Period. And we don't make excuses about that either. Okay? So today we're talking about, like I said, I'm sorry. Third thing, because I get off track. Third law. Once you understand the science of yourself, it's important for you to study the generational psychology or your ancestral lineage, specifically the women that came before you. You need to look at the choices they made with money. You need to look at the choices they made with men. You need to look at the choices they made with meals. And you need to pay attention to how all of those things impacted their life, because the root of that is going to tell you their emotional state. I just gave you a wonderful gift. For those who were wondering what that is, you have to look at them and take off your judgmental glasses, because you are not better than them. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how much therapy you intake. You're not better than them. And one thing about pressure is that pressure reveals and builds character. Thank you, my love, for these likes. Okay? It reveals and it builds character. And we are, I can't say that. Understand that pressure is going to come. And who you truly are is going to be revealed. Get your house in order. Get your house in order. Because the woman who can create internal stability can always create external stability. Okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to stop praying for new wine when you're not really ready to get rid of these old skins. Because it's necessary for you to get rid of the old if you really want to bring into the new. Otherwise, you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. Okay? Again, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Elle Antoinette. I'm a psychological identity strategist. And what I do specifically is I support my amazing clients. I guide high-capacity women to stop self-abandonment under pressure through feminine science. I help them to understand the truth about themselves from a space spiritually and scientifically. And when you understand yourself in those two elements, you see the value. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. And when you begin to understand the value, you begin to protect it, much like the jeweler keeps the good stuff in the back, not in the front, where the thieves who can break in and immediately take it. The real stuff is under lock and key. And when you understand the core nature of who you are spiritually, you understand how you operate scientifically, I guarantee you won't have a problem holding your boundaries, baby. I guarantee you won't have a problem protecting yourself. I guarantee you won't find yourself in positions to continue to be prey, because your discernment will be so strong that you don't violate it. Okay? So let's go ahead and get straight into it. All right? First thing I want to say, or I need you to ask yourself is, thank you, Lovey, for these gifts. Who do you want to be? And when I say that, I'm being so serious. I want you to just think for a second. Who do you want to be? This is a truth moment right here. Who do you want to be? What emotional vibrational state do you want to reside on? Okay. Do you want excitement? A life of excitement? Do you want excitement for yourself? Do you want agitation? You got to choose today. Because if you're going to stay here and you're going to listen to what I'm telling you, you're going to be responsible for the knowledge that you're being given. Now, here's a house rule. Okay. I don't press anybody to give me likes. I don't press anybody to give me gifts. I don't press anybody to do any of that, because I believe people are going to sow where they see value. What I do hold you accountable for, if you're going to be on this live, is this. If you are receiving value, you have a responsibility to give value and show value, whether it's to share, whether it's to tag, whether it's to any of that. You have a responsibility, if you are receiving value, to sow value if you want to receive more value. That's just in general. And I'm not even talking about me. I'm talking about life in general. For example, when somebody called me and asked me to borrow money, I don't expect them to pay me their money back. But I know the money is coming back to me from some other space. Even if it doesn't come back from them, I'm still going to get it back because I sowed with a cheerful heart, right? So if you find value in this space, right? Share value. Share value. Because I'm leaving here empty, and you're responsible for the things that you know. Even if you don't act on them, you're responsible for the things that you know, okay? You changed my life in so many ways. All praises to the Most High. I appreciate that very much. Okay, so who do y'all want to be? Seriously, who do you want to be? What emotional vibrational state do you want to be on? Do you want to be excited about your life, or you want to be agitated your entire life? You must choose today, because the era that we just entered into is not about what you do. And I'm gonna tell you the difference. It's all about who you are. Let me tell you the two differences between those, why this is so important and why you really need to catch this. Number one, what you do it's easy to sell your soul. Let's be real honest. So the corporate system is a system that basically extracts your life force from you on purpose for their agenda and for their goals, right? You're literally selling your soul to a corporation and a company. You're selling your most valuable currency, and this is on this earth, which is time. You are selling it for money, which is the cheapest form of currency, honestly, in this society, because the real currency, money is attracted to value. Value. When you understand that you are the value, then you know you got options. This is how you know you have options at a corporation. If you put your 2 weeks in and they come back and offer you some more money or say, what can we do to keep you? They see the value in what it is that you're providing, that they will come back. They will find money that apparently never seem to be there, and they will come back and they will offer you their money if they see the value in you. But if you put that 2 week notice in and they don't say nothing, what you need to know and understand is this, that you are replaceable to them. You are replaceable to them. It's the equivalent to a person saying, I don't want to be with you anymore. And then a person saying, okay, well, you just ain't gonna fight for me? They didn't see the value in fighting. You gave up, so what is it that you wanted them to do? What is it that you really wanted them to do? You should have been sure about what you were doing instead of trying to play a game. It's the exact same thing with that. You have, and I'm just, because I'm sure it's probably men and women on this live, right? You have sacred currencies: time, energy, attention. Money is a currency, but money is the cheapest one. For women, there's also beauty. Okay, so, and I'm gonna talk a lot about time today, so because we're gonna be talking about time jumping. But when you sell your time, okay, when you sell your time, you are selling the highest form of currency that you have on this earth. You are selling something that you cannot get back. Okay, that's something that's really important about what you know, about understanding the whole what you do. Do you understand that they've been training us since kids to sell our soul? Let me tell you why I say that. Hold tight. What's the number one question that people always want to ask kids when they're little? What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? Soon as you about to get ready to graduate high school, graduate college. Okay, so what do you want to do with your life? Where do you want to, in which capacity are you going to sell your soul? Unless you come into the understanding that you have creative and witty inventions in your very being, according to Proverbs 8 and 12, which means that you should never be broke. What do you mean? What do you mean? A job, I mean, if you're in a corporation, I don't care if you're making $250,000, right? And they fire you. You should be so cool, like, okay, I'm just gonna go do this because I have this gift. I was talking to my homegirl yesterday who makes bank. And I'm talking about, she makes bank in her business because she does like the styling. She does a lot of stuff with like AI twins. She's on it. So I absolutely love her, right? She was so sought out for the gift of styling that Akira, right, called her and was like, hey, we want you to come here. We want you to style. This is what we need you to do. So she gets in there, sweetheart. She's closing deals. Do you hear me? Because, you know, sales and all that stuff. So she's closing it down. She's really, really making some bags over there, right? And She was like, girl, I just move and I just be myself because what I know is this. At any time, she said, I'm doing this for a time because, it's getting me more connections in different areas. She said, but at any time, I feel like this is not what I want to do. I know I can just go back to doing what I do. I don't need this. See, everybody else in here running around because they need this. I'm not rushing. I'm moving slow. I'm in my feminine. I'm doing this and I'm still making the money. See, this is when you understand your value, understand that you have options. But when you feel like you're selling your soul to this, when you are selling your soul to a corporation, you owe them. You feel like you can't live without their monthly payment, without their bi-weekly payment. That is what it is that you're thinking in your mind. And you literally plug yourself into this resource and treat it as it is the ultimate source. And that is dangerous. So when you lose this thing, you lose your identity, which is why you shouldn't wrap yourself in titles, which is why you shouldn't be wrapping yourself up in titles. Okay? So who do you want to be? This era is not about selling your soul anymore and selling your time. It's about creating from your soul. Here we go. This is where we are. When I say it's about who you are, it's about what you create from your soul. Because let me tell you something. They will know you by your fruit. We have entered into, and I talked about this last year, and I have a whole article on Substack where I talk about the age of air and all this different type of stuff and how we entered into that space last year. And how when you think about the element of air, you think about the wind, it comes through clearing things. Everything is going to be put on the forefront. Y'all ain't going to be able to be fake no more. Ooh, y'all ain't going to be able to be fake no more. Y'all ain't going to be able to keep performing like you are performing. You are going to literally have a breakdown or be exposed. I'm not even kidding. This is why this stuff is happening. This is why you guys have so much disdain for the celebrity. They've been selling out the entire time, selling themselves the whole time, which is why when you see them, they look so hollow. And it ain't just them. It's leaders. It's all kind of stuff. It's a whole lot of stuff going on. But things are going to continue to be exposed, including you. Bye, loving. Including you. So people are going to know you by your fruit. What are you going to be creating from your soul? Or are you going to be in a space to where you are continuing to sell your soul until you have nothing else left? Then you're trying to fight for a corporation to give you something. That's all you're going to give me after 30 years? They looking at you like, thank you, lovey. They looking at you like, you didn't know what you were signing up for? These corporations don't care about you. This whole thing is about you being a slave. Don't you understand that? This whole thing is about you being that. It's not about you being free. In order for you to truly be free, you'd have to know who you are spiritually. You'd have to be fortified mentally so you can come out of the matrix for real. Because the matrix is nothing but these systems of psychological spell work. For real, though. It's been a pipeline playing with our minds since we were children. Since we were children. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, and thank you for these likes. So, what you gonna do? How you choosing? This area is not about what you do. It's about who you are. It's not about selling your soul. It's about creating from your soul, because that's all you got. That's all you got. Okay? I want you to hear this too. I know a lot of you may think that y'all gonna do neuroscience, or y'all gonna therapy your way out of, your default programming and all of that type of stuff. Let me tell you something. You are not above the program. You are not above the program. See, a lot of you are out here, talking about how you run a strict program. You don't run a strict program. You don't run a strict program. You are easy access to a clown that has disrespected you. You're not running a strict program. You're not above your nervous system program, because your nervous system is the program. So if you grew up in a state of instability and confusion and drama and trauma consistently, and you have not done the internal work to disrupt and interrupt the pattern, then you are repeating it in your adult life, but just in a different way. Why do you think you're better than your mama? See, this is what I be talking about when I say the third thing, if you want to thrive in this society, you need to study the generational lineage, psychological lineage of the women in your family. You need to assess them. You need to look at them with fresh eyes, not judgment. Because when you see them, you see you. Your mama is your mama for a reason. I don't care how much she do, whatever she do. Your mother is your mother for a reason, because there were specific lessons that you needed to learn, whether it was she actively gave you these lessons, or her behavior or something else taught you these lessons. But it is your responsibility to catch it. It's your responsibility to catch it. Okay? Because that's extremely, extremely, extremely important. You are not above the program. You are not above your lineage. You are not above the dirt on your porch. Please. You're not above it. You will always, always, always default back to your program, and your nervous system is the program. Your nervous system is always on time. Your body is a clock. A clock. Your body is a clock that keeps appointments with your past. Huh? Because we can talk about it from a health perspective. You going up here thinking that you're going to be able to eat like this and not have any movement and not do anything. And then when your body is on time to reveal that there is dis-ease within the body, which means lack of harmony within the body, it's on time with its delivery, because it has a record and it's been clocking what you've been doing the entire time. See, you have to start being honest with yourself. Okay? You gotta start being honest with yourself. Because here's the thing I want you to understand. I know we in January. I know it's New Year, New Me. I know it's this. I know it's that. Da, 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 da. I know it's all of that. But baby, hold on. My mom triggers my nervous system. Being around her makes my chest hurt. Seriously. You have to decenter. You have to center yourself. Now, I wasn't going to answer any questions or anything, but that one hit right there. Because you have to center yourself in that experience. There's nothing wrong with having boundaries with your mother. You can honor your mother and still have boundaries with her. You have to center yourself. My chest isn't going to hurt around anybody. Do you understand? I don't care who it is. It's nobody's worth dying for when I ain't done everything I needed to do and wanted to do with myself. Absolutely not. We are called to guard our heart above everything else, because from it flows life. The quality of your life depends on how you guard your heart. That is what that is saying. And it also says in scripture, specifically Ephesians 6:4, parents, do not provoke your children to the point to where they want nothing to do with you. See, above all things, get an understanding so you can implement and so you can guard yourself. Okay? All right. Now, I know we in January. I had to get into her. I had to be obedient. My Holy Spirit told me to do that. I know it's January, and I know everybody's so excited. New year, new me, new this, new that, whatever the case may be, right? But I don't care how much habit stacking you do. I don't care how many hobbies you claim that you're going to do. I don't care about your goals. I don't care about your plans. I don't care about your vision boards, because the truth is all of those things are useless without pattern interruption. If you have not interrupted the pattern that causes you to overeat, if you have not interrupted the pattern that causes you to keep going back to men that don't respect you, if you haven't interrupted the pattern that causes you to repel money from your hand every time you get it, then you will go back to that man. You will go back to those food habits. You will go back to talking about your goals, which is nothing but dopamine hits. And that's just for real. Without interruption, your vision board is nothing but a cute collage. Don't even show it to me. I don't care. Because it's not real. Y'all let people take y'all money for dopamine hits. You want to have a vision board party? You're not going to do nothing. You don't have a plan. It literally tells you in scripture to write the vision down and make it plain. You ain't got nothing written down. And it also tells you without a vision, the people will perish. Good grief. How you think you finna hit your goal? What you think you finna do? What you really think you finna do? But get on your own nerves for another year by looking the same way and doing the exact same the following year. Okay? You will go back to exactly what it is that you were doing if you do not interrupt the pattern. So let's do this real quick. And I just I want a little participation in this, okay? But the only thing that you have to do, guys, is you're going to put a yes, or you're going to put a no, or you're going to put a Y, or you're going to put an N, okay? And this is for you. This is not for me. But I'm just going to go ahead and give it to you. But it might be a bit of a, but it's for you. It's going to make us better. It's going to make us great, okay? So the first thing that I need you to understand is that you're going to have to choose your state. You're going to have to choose your state. Thank you, my love, for these follows. You're going to have to choose your state, okay? Excitement is activated peace. Remember that peace is one of the spiritual fruits. The 9 spiritual fruits, it speaks about in scripture, it says, against the fruit there is no law. That means that there is nothing that can violate you or come against you that can really sustain if you are operating in the fruit. Can't nothing and nobody play with you, not a spell from this. You shouldn't be shook. What is you shook for? What are you shook about? When you're moving like that, there's nothing for you to be afraid of, because fear, number one, is not even the spirit of the Most High. Okay? So the first thing I need you to understand is you got to choose your state. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. Excitement is activated peace. It's rooted in, how can I say this? It's rooted in anticipation and in safety. Okay? Your system says yes without urgency. Okay? Agitation, on the other hand, is activated fear. This is something that is not a spiritual fruit. This is something that is not given to you by the Most High. Okay? Activated fear is rooted in threat and impatience. Okay? Your system feels behind, it feels pressured, or it feels unsafe. Perfect example. If you love me, you'll do it. If you don't do it, I'm going to get somebody else to do it. See, if you get triggered in that and get impatient because you start thinking that the person is going to leave you because you allowed that level of pressure to push you out of the truth that you actually attract abundance, that lets me know that you don't know who you are. Because it tells you in John 10:10 on one end, that you can become your own enemy, which is to steal, kill, and destroy. And basically what you're stealing, let me break down the steal, kill, and destroy. You're stealing your own joy, you're killing your own confidence, and then you self-destruct. So that's one way that you can go in this life, okay? But then there's on the other hand where it says that the Messiah has come to give you life and give you life abundantly, which means that there's plentifulness, there always is. There's no such thing as lack. So it's no need for you to worry because you always know that there is no such thing as lack. The last time you were really in the jam and you really needed something to come through, most of the times when you go through that, things work exactly the way that they are supposed to. So what does your worry do? Your worry weakens your immune system, which makes your body go into a state of lack of harmony, which causes dis-ease over time. Dis-ease like IBS. Okay? You are having somatic symptoms of what's really happening in your body because of your emotions. One of my modalities is that I'm an energetic psychology practitioner. I can tell you how your emotions are impacting your organs. Okay? So again, you have anticipation. I'm sorry, not anticipation. You have agitation, which is activated fear. And then you also have activated peace in the form of excitement. So we have body signals of agitation. It can kind of feel like a tight jaw, shallow breathing. It's very leaky, very reactive type of energy. It's you losing yourself in that moment. You losing your temper. Think about when you get mad, you start getting a little tight. Everybody knows, I'm not glorifying this, but back in the day when I used to fight when I was younger, and I never started nothing, they just thought they could play with me, and I had to be like, no, this ain't it. So you always get that feeling in your gut, or at least I do, when I'm about to have to defend myself or disarm somebody. I'm gonna have to do something. You get this feeling in your gut like, okay, like prepare, right? So when you are in that space, you're tense, you're tight, you're ready, okay? You're ready to react, okay? That is what that actually is feeling like. So we're talking about body signals when it comes down to agitation. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. It's very reactive and very leaky energy, meaning you're about to take your power and give it to somebody. Even though you think, I'm going to show you something. Even though you think you're overpowering them with every punch, right? You think that you're overpowering them, and let's say you do knock them out, and let's say you do, whatever it is that you need to do, you still are giving your power to that person. So guess what happens? If that individual wakes up after provoking you with their mouth and you decide to, you know what I'm saying? You decide to get them. So you hit them, and then they get up and they take your power of what you did and call the police on you, who loses power? Who loses power? Who loses power? See, you have to think about that type of energy, reactive energy, always leaks, and you're always transferring power. That is science, what I'm telling you. I'm a nerd too. So like I say, everything I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. That's thermodynamics. Okay. One aspect of physics talks about the conservation of energy principle. It means that your energy is never, it's never gone, like it's never wasted. You either transferring it to something or somebody, or you're transmuting it up to shift your life and your reality. So you hitting somebody, right, that provoked you with their mouth, and you physically muster up your power to attack them. Then we get to the space of, okay, so now I'm taking that power, I'm taking your power, and I'm suing you, and I'm breaking you down with what you gave me. So these are the things that we have to think about and we have to consider. Agitation, that's a very reactive type of energy, and you begin to feel it in your body. It's leaking. Excitement is more of a, thank you, my love, for these follows. Excitement is more like an open chest, steady type of energy. It's expansive, it's coherent. I want you to ask yourself, and this is where I want you to participate, please and thank you. If nothing changed in your world in the next 24 hours, would you still feel okay? Would you feel okay? Put a yes or a no in the comments. If nothing changed in your life, okay, for the next 24 hours, would you still feel okay? Okay? So we have some yeses, we have some no's, we have some yeses, we have some no's. So I'm going to tell you something. If your answer is yes, there is it depends what it is. It's a decision. You can't sit on the line of balance with that, because there is no balance with that. There's no gray. If the answer is yes, then guess what? That's excitement. If your answer is no, that's agitation. And that answer tells you your vibrational state immediately. Immediately. Okay? If you're in a state of agitation, you probably keep repeating a loop. You keep going through the same loop. We get money, we don't keep money, right? We get money, we don't keep money. We start a thing, we don't finish a thing, right? We find ourselves consistently not being treated properly or supported like we support other people. We keep meeting selfish people, keep meeting narcissistic people, right? That's because you're in a loop. That tells a lot about your vibrational state. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. Yes, but fully satisfied, no. Fully, I challenge you to ask yourself, have you ever met a person that is fully satisfied? I challenge you to go deeper and see what is the need that really needs to be satiated, that you are seeking in consistent satisfaction. And I say this to you as a person who was just like that, right? I ran just like that. And I can tell you this, there's not a safe state to be in, because you'll burn yourself out if you're not careful. Okay? So find out what that is. Now I can help you. You can come over here, but find out what that is. Okay? Been in the loop, and I can feel myself moving out of it. I know that's right. So, of course, if you're in a state of in a loop, you're in a state of agitation. And so let's talk about capacity for a second, because we really need to get into that. Okay. It tells us in Matthew 9:17 that neither do people pour new wine into old wineskins. And if they do, the skins will burst. Okay, let me explain a little bit about what that means. So back in the day, back in that time frame, when they were making wine, right, they actually used animal skin. Okay, and so when they were going through the process of putting the mixture into the animal skin so it can ferment. When it starts to ferment, let me put my iPad down for a second. When it starts to ferment, the skin begins to expand. It becomes like elastic. It takes on a whole different kind of shape, right? So, and that's what happens in the fermenting process, which I'm going to talk about fermenting because it's important of understanding as well too. So in that process, because it becomes so big and it starts to swell up and it changes shape, you know, once everything is done, the process, you're going to pour everything out. Once you pour everything out, the bag, the skin, the old skin has completely shifted. It's different. It's not the same. So if you try to pour new wine into it, the capacity is not going to be able to hold it because it's been stretched to the max. Once it's been stretched, putting new wine in old skins will literally cause it to burst open. And it'll do it once the fermenting process has started. Okay. You cannot pour new wine in old skins. You cannot take old habits and saying you want something different. You can't take old food habits and say you want a new body. You got to stop lying to yourself. You cannot do that. You have to get to the pattern that causes you to overeat. You have to get to the pattern that blocks you from moving. Those are ceilings. They are not real, that we can come out of if you really want to do that. For you to understand, when I was talking about fermenting, right? To ferment means literally excitement, which is to be enthused or eager. And it also, the root of it is like agitation, to be disturbed, okay, or upset. When the process of fermentation is happening, it's the state of turbulent change or development. So either you can learn by being agitated all your life. You can go through the process, the state of turbulent change or development all of your life. Or you can make a decision to be enthused, to be eager about the development of your life. You got two choices. You cannot sit on the balance of it. You can't sit in the middle. There is no middle ground. This is an initiation. It's a pass or a fail. And only you know what it is that you need to be doing or what is actually blocking you. Okay? The wineskin represents your capacity. Many of you cannot hold what you are asking for. So I want y'all to stop holding up the prayer line asking for men. I want y'all to stop holding up the prayer line asking for like money that you can't manage. I want you to stop asking for things that you don't have the capacity for because you refuse to interrupt the pattern. Period. I'm sick of it. We're like sick of it. Stop getting on here talking about how much you praying for a husband. Girl, you don't even take care of yourself. Don't piss me off. Talking about you think somebody can come take care of you and you not a representation of taking care of yourself. Grow up. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Grow up. Y'all think it's a game. Marriage is for grown folks. Marriage is for grown folks. You don't know what marriage is for real? Go over there and follow. It's a one of my mutuals. Love her down. Love her content down. Go over there and follow Lady of the House. Cause y'all be running y'all mouth about what y'all want, and you don't have the capacity for that. You don't. You don't know what it is to be a wife. Y'all claim that's what you really want, and then you criticize people for doing exactly what that was. Like, I don't like the way y'all, and I don't even not a fan of either one of them, but I don't even like the way y'all dog walk Gucci and Keisha Kaur for standing with him and being married to him after realizing that he had a mental issue. He had a mental illness. Literally. Y'all talk about, oh, somebody being here with me, and y'all, girl, don't let her trick you into being with no deranged man. Y'all sleep with deranged men all the time. Don't like, for real. Let's stop with the lies. She didn't know that was going on beforehand. That's what she found out after the marriage. And guess what? When she signed up for better or for worse. She was built for that. Because she looked good the entire time, babe. I had no clue. I would have never known. Okay? Would have never known. Because she looked excellent the whole time. So, for real though, it's girl, stop holding up the prayer line for them prayers y'all ain't ready for. Great, I love her. She's great. Stop on the prayer line. Y'all ain't ready to interrupt no real patterns. But then you claim you want to jump timelines. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about jumping timelines. Let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about the math of timeline jump real quick. Okay? So of course I told you I'm a nerd. So I study like psychobiology, physics, and time. I have this really like insane relationship with time. And I absolutely like love it so much. So I like study it across all aspects. And I always explain people like how easy it is for you to jump timelines and how easy it is for us to time travel, because this is something that we do every single day. And every time I explain it, people are like, what? I never even thought about that. I'm like, yes, because we do it every day. I'm going to give y'all a little bit. I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about the math of the timeline jump. But first, before I do that, let me explain how we all are time travelers, just so everybody can get in the same mindset, can understand what's going on here, okay? First and foremost, we time travel every single day. Every single day. You are a walking time machine. You carry the present, you carry the past, you carry the future. Point blank, period, okay? You have the most beneficial thing that you can do if you really want to shift in timeline jump is to understand how to sit in the present. Let me explain to you how traveling to the past and traveling to the future makes you sick. I'm not going to be long on this, so pay attention and please don't ask any questions because I need to focus while I'm trying to get this out of my mind, okay? So, the first things first is when you are traveling to the past, this means that you spend your time reminiscing over old things that happened previously. This is, and sometimes a lot of times, when you travel to the past too much, it normally signals that you're depressed about your present. You're not comfortable sitting in your present. So this is where you hear people talk about the highlight reels of their life. They talk about high school. They talk about their college years. They talk about all these different things or these high point moments in their life. And you looking at them like, you ain't doing nothing now. Y'all know how y'all be doing, judging. Don't act like y'all be doing it, because y'all be telling me, I know. So you sitting in there, you like, dang, that's all you talk about is that past time. That person is locked into the past because they're normally very depressed about their present, okay? Spending too much time in the past can depress you. Spending too much time in the past can keep you stuck. Spending too much time in the past can keep you in a time loop of self-destructive and self-addictive behaviors to keep yourself in that state of mind in order to escape reality. I'm telling you something without telling you something, because a lot of us spend too much time in the past, right? And when you spend that time in the past, let me tell you what the traveling to the past is for. I'm going to use myself for this personal example. I only travel. I'm not going to get emotional. I only travel to the past to pay attention to reoccurring patterns that are causing problems in the present, which could destroy my future. That's the first reason why you should only travel to the past. Okay. The second reason that you should travel to the past is to collect something I like to call, how can I describe it? Ancestral dust. And what I mean by that is I lost my father in August, right? And so when I go to travel to the past, I collect lessons that my father has taught me. I collect memories that made me smile when my father was here. I collect my father's laugh that was infectious. I collect things that are going to fuel me in the present so I can, as I create the future that I desire for myself. So you should only travel to the past to pay attention to your reoccurring patterns that could destroy your future, and to collect ancestral dust, memories, and, joyful times of those who have come into your space and made such an impact to where when they left, it left a dagger, right? And sometimes you just need those words and you need those things. So those are the reasons why you should travel. Thank you, Lovey. To the past. Those are only reasons. Now, let me tell you something about why a lot of you struggle in the area of anxiety and anxiousness and things like that. It's because you spend too much time in the future. You spend too much time in the future, a future that has not been created yet, a future that can only be created by your present. But yet you find yourself quantum jumping there, worrying about things that have not happened yet. The root of anxiety is the inability to be able to control a scenario, an outcome, and also it is rooted in the unknown, right? And those things both are rooted in what? Fear. Fear. What is the spirit that is not of the Most High? Fear. Do you believe that that's something that's supposed to stick and stay in your body? How? It's not a part of your design. Fear is the energy that is exchanged to you. And if you do not believe me, let's use the example of toddlers. Toddlers don't care what they say. Toddlers don't care what they do. Toddler would climb all the way up on the dresser and will be jumping up and down and will get ready to jump off. And then you walk in the room as a mom and you scream because you're afraid. And that scream transfers because according to science, according to the conservation of energy principle, that scream transfers the fear into that child to where he stops. He don't know he about to fall. He don't know what's about to happen. He just knows that you have screamed. So you have transferred fear. Fear is something that is transferred into your space, baby. What are you worried about? What are you anxious about? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of if you are really a believer? See, now is the time, like I said, you're going to get exposed if you're not a real believer for real. You got to be real careful about what you're out here saying. Where is your belief in the time when you are faced with a problem that's in the 3D or that's on earth? Where is your belief? Because fear and faith cannot reside in the same body. Belief and fear, because that's lack and belief. And there is no such thing as lack in the kingdom. According to what it says, what I just told y'all in John 10:10, abundance is the opposite of lack. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these follows. It's the opposite of lack. So what are we doing? What are we really doing? You cannot spend too much time in the future because spending too much time in the future keeps you in an anxious state. Keeps you in an anxious state. And remaining in an anxious state is something that the society, a specific country, which I can't say the name, has its entire country in an anxious state using psychological spell work and glamour magic via media, via news, via things that you are hearing, all kinds of things. I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the one that turns 250 this year. You being in an anxious state, living in this society, keeps you sick. And they know that. They've studied that. This is why the mental health industry, because there's a difference between mental illness and mental health. Let me be very clear with that. The mental health industry is making a whole lot of money off your anxiousness. Anxiousness that they created. Be very careful of the naked man who gives you a shirt. How are we out here giving out resources to other spaces, but we don't have resources? Stop spending so much time in the future and spend the time that you need to in the present, which allows you to bend the future, create the future, and actually bend time. I'm about to show you how you bend time. If you don't believe me, I'm going to give you a great example. Put a 1 in the comments if you've ever been in a car accident. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make you afraid or cause any, trauma when I say that. But I always say myself, for anyone who's ever been in a car wreck, put a 1 in the comments for me. Because I just want someone to tell me, and you guys are welcome to tell me if I'm wrong, right? I'm going to teach you how to stay in the present and how you have the ability to stay in the present. For those of you who have been in a car wreck, do you remember right before the car was about to hit you how time slowed down? Do you remember how slow time got? Where you were able to kind of see everything just happening? Everything just started going real slow. Mm-hmm. There we go. Yep, I do. Yep. Mm-hmm. Guess what you did? You sat in the present moment and you slowed yourself down enough to be able to catch every aspect of what was happening in that moment. You bent time. You slowed down time. This is why time is a construct. It's not what they tell you. There's chronos time and there's kairos time. Chronos time is your chronological time, your years, your seconds, your minutes, your moment, all of that. And then there's chronos time. That is your seasons. Okay? Those are your seasons, your cycles, your seasons of famine and flourishing and all of those things, your highs, your lows, your ebbs, all of those things. Time is a construct. That's what I'm telling you. So when you are spending your time, understand that you are a time traveler. The best way for you to create a better future is to slow down so that you can actually bend time. Because everything slows down when you sit in the presence. That's why it feels so long when you sitting in the room and there's nothing going on. And then you impatient, like, oh my God, have y'all called me yet? When y'all be in the doctor's office, you ain't got no kind of patience. You're up in there sitting. You already know you've been down there for 10 minutes sitting down, and you swear you've been in there for an hour because you feel like time is really going slow. That's because you are not comfortable sitting in your body. 2026 is all about embodiment. You either gonna embody or you gonna get exposed. Don't say I ain't tell you. You are either going to embody or you're going to be exposed. Exposure can look like burnout. Oh, girl, I didn't even know she was going through all that. She was just like she had it all together. Y'all better slow up. You better slow up. So understand that you time travel every single day, but is it beneficial to you? Are you making the best use of your time? So now you understand time travel. So let me go ahead and explain to you the math of time jumping and timeline jumping. Okay? So I believe that the Most High wrote and created everything in math. I believe that everything has a formula behind it. I believe nothing is coincidental. I believe math and science is how everything has been constructed. The Most High used math and science to be able to construct everything that we see before us. Okay? In order for you to understand the aspect of timeline jumping, you have to understand what a timeline is and what that looks like. You have to understand the formula of time. So this is the formula of time based on the research and the things that I've done, and based on the fact that I have been able to help women quantum jump. And I've been doing it for the last 6 years. Oh my God, it is 6 years now. Yeah, so it's the last 6 years. My top 3 results with women is they quantum jump. My clients make more money when they come to work with me. My clients, they get healthier when they come to work with me. I used to be 100 pounds heavier. I'm not a weight loss coach. Everything I teach, like I said, is rooted in scripture, backed up by science. So I teach you how to understand the spirituality of yourself, the science of your feminine design as well, so that you can operate in the fullness of your feminine essence. And your feminine essence is what is magnetic. Your feminine essence is what will radiate. Your feminine essence is what will be protected, because you understand that you are not just a feminine woman, you're also a warrior, and a warrior protects herself. I know y'all think femininity is just all sweet, soft, and y'all better go read. Y'all better go read. Baby, with some real life stuff in there. Okay? Some real life ones. Go read the story of JL. Baby, slit that man throat. Listen. Not a joke and not a game. Understand how to, even when it comes down to people demonize, and I understand people demonize Delilah, but the fact that she was able to play with this man and try to play this man 3 times, and he was still so slow that he didn't get it, that he turned around and gave her the answer, that's her basically using her feminine wiles to be, like, for real. Like, we really have to think about this. So the women that come to work with me also, they lose weight, they get healthier. The last thing that happens is they build better relationships with the masculine. Now, let me be real easy with this, because I am not a yes, my clients have attractive fiancés. Yes, my clients have improved their marriages. Yes, husbands have paid me to work with their wives. Yes, all of this. But I want to be very clear about something. A man, in his response to you operating in the fullness of yourself, is secondary, third dairy ain't even the word. But y'all know what I'm saying. Baby, it should be the last thing on your mind. That's a byproduct. Okay? That's extra. That's after you already know you all that, and you know you got options, so you just ain't finna let people play with you. You understand access, you understand requirements to access your energy, you understand rules of engagement, you understand boundaries. See, this you understanding all this, okay? Because when you don't understand none of that, you're gonna continue to be a victim in your experience. When you step into the fullness of being yourself, you don't need a villain error. Y'all be doing it wrong. You feel like you need you don't need a villain error. All you got to do is become sure of yourself. When you become sure of yourself, you're going to become the villain because you're going to start telling people no. The only people who have an issue with the word no are people who don't say no enough. Because the first thing that you want to say is, I would do it for you. Who cares? Nobody is asking you to run yourself into the ground, and anybody who does not value you better get rid of them ASAP. And I mean today. Because you don't have an opportunity to waste time like this. So if you really gonna want a timeline jump and you really want to do this, I'm about to explain it. But if you feel like, man, this might be too much for me, go ahead and make your exit. Because I'm gonna tell you, like it's saying in scripture, to whom much is given, much is required. Thank you, my love, for these follows and these comments. To whom much is given, much is required. So when you get this information from me, you better do something with it because you're responsible for it. Okay? I'm just here to be the transmission. I'm just here to give it to you. This literally, when I tell you this was a digital download from the Most High that was given to me early this morning, the first thing came, who do you want to be? Most High was even asking myself, hold on. Okay, let me wake it up. I'm up. It's 5. I'm up anyway. Don't even worry about it. Okay? Who do you want to be? Because it's going to require you to know the math of timeline jumping. It's going to require you to timeline jump. Okay? So let's get into it. The formula. Time is a formula. Based on how I study, time is a formula, okay? And time cycles and time circles, okay? Those are the things that you need to remember. So when we're talking about time cycle loops, we're talking about, basically, I wish I had my whiteboard. But I'm talking about like time cycle loops equals cause time effect plus pattern time season, okay? So that is what keeps you in a cycle. Hi, Lovey. I'm about to let you know in just one moment. I'm almost done. That's the next thing I'm going over. So how that works is like this. First, there's a cause. Then there's an effect, which is multiplied. Okay. Then there is a pattern that's created. And if you sit in that pattern for a long period of time, guess what it becomes? It becomes a season. And if you sit in that season consistently, then guess what? It becomes a time cycle loop. And you keep repeating it over and over and over again. I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like. If I were to sit around and continue to eat McDonald's every day, cause times the effect, which is going to be multiplied, me making that one decision to eat that every single day for 60 days is going to have an effect on me so massive on my health, okay? That's going to cause my DNA and my body to function in a different pattern, which brings me to pattern. So we got plus pattern. Now, if I continue to do this for another 3 months and I'm locking myself into that pattern, guess what? It multiplies because now it becomes a season. So now I've spent 6 months in a cycle of destroying my DNA and my body function by continuing to eat McDonald's for 6 months every single day. I'm in a time loop of bad health. I'm in a time loop of chronic pain. I'm in a time loop of horrible relationships because I don't like the way I look, so I take anybody who like me. See, this is stuff that y'all not saying, y'all need to keep it real about. You would not be dealing with somebody who disrespected you if you felt like you was that girl. Because that girl knows she got options. You understand? See, that girl knows she got options. You don't believe you have options. That's because you don't like yourself. You don't take care of yourself. You've allowed yourself to get in this space where you've let yourself go spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And now it's shown up physically. You understand that weight holds on the body for a reason? Weight holds on the body for a reason. This comes from somebody who used to be 100 pounds heavier. So I'm not new to it. I'm true to it. I ain't telling you nothing that ain't real. It will hold on to it because emotionally, in some aspect, you have committed to needing that. Okay? So when you continue to be in that space and you in that cycle loop and you doing this and you doing that, you're stuck in that loop because you won't do nothing different. You won't start a different cause. It can't multiply a different effect. It can't create a new pattern. It can't put you in a season of flourishing. So therefore, your time cycle is toxic consistently. And you keep repeating it every single 6 months. And you wonder why each year keeps skating past you? Like, be for real. Be for real. Like, it does not make any sense. Okay? It don't make no sense. So again, time is a formula. It's time cycle. It's a time cycle because there's circles in the cycles. So time loops are created like this. There's cause times effect. Think about a math problem. Plus patterns times season. That's what puts you and keeps you in a loop. Whatever it is the cause is. Okay? Now let's talk about timeline anatomy for a second and what that looks like. A timeline is an arrangement of occurrences. In order to jump timelines, you have to stop the occurrences. In order to stop the occurrences, you have to interrupt the pattern. Before you can change the cause, you have to understand the need that's behind it, that's being satiated, that you have not admitted to, that's sitting in your dark shadows. It's sitting in your childhood. Because the adult you knows that you shouldn't be being dishonored and disrespected like that and all of these different type of things. But it's a part of you that has not shifted the arrangement. So let's talk about what occurrences is. You have to stop the occurrence. So an occurrence, or what does it mean for something to occur? To be met with, to come into existence, to come to mind. If you want to change your thoughts, if you want something else to come into your existence, if you want to be met with something else, then you are going to have to stop causing this same time loop to hit you in the face every year, every 6 months, every month, whatever this is looking like. In order for you to truly jump into a new timeline, okay, you have to break up with the agreement you made in the experience that you are currently in. You have to stop meeting with the old version of you. Gotta stop doing it. That is what it means to interrupt the pattern. You are literally, legally, you kind of like ending a legal agreement with your past. And that is the work that we do in the pattern recognition lab. I'm sorry, the pattern interruption lab. By the end of the 4 weeks, because we start January the 8th, after the 4 weeks, you're going to be able to do the following because it's going to be extremely important for you to be really clear on this. You're going to be able to identify what the core repeating pattern is, not the story, but the mechanism. It's a mechanism, but you got to know the mechanism. Y'all telling the story, y'all saying this person left me. When you're venting, this is why I have a 0 venting policy in this particular program, because we are retiring the word because. He did this because, or I know this because. Retire because. It's got to go. I need you to identify the core pattern, not the story, the mechanism. I need you to recognize the exact moment before you default. The reason why you go and do this thing is because you don't have a program in between. And I said this the other day, a perfect example. You know why you go and you eat fast food, even though you said you just left the gym? You know why you go get fast food after the gym? We're going to tell the truth. Because you didn't meal prep. Because you didn't, and you know why you didn't meal prep? Because you didn't plan your meals. You know why you didn't plan your meals? Because you let everybody else siphon and suck your time out. So you didn't have time to do it, so you were so tired. You know why you don't have time? Because you don't prioritize yourself. You put everybody else before you. You know why you do that? Because you don't value yourself. And you know why you don't value yourself? Because you don't know yourself for real. You don't know why you deserve that type of protection. So you try to protect everybody else's feelings. You don't want to tell them no. Girl. So we recognize the exact moment before you default to being a people pleaser, before you default to putting yourself second, before you default to making a decision that is going to destroy you. We support you in understanding that, because I'm going to tell you what it is. It's a secret 60-second window that you have that I'm going to educate you on. And once you learn that 60-second window of decision making, you ain't going to never struggle to make a decision again. And you ain't going to ever be stuck in another pattern again because you have that window that you need. So we're going to interrupt one high impact pattern in real time. We're going to stop confusing emotional awareness with emotional change. And you're going to be able to clearly see whether you need stabilization, attachment repair, because we have attachment issues, or deeper identity work. This is full on exposure, and exposure needs containment. So what you're going to get in that space is we're gonna meet. We're gonna have our own Telegram community. When you are running into an issue, I'm gonna have a GPT for you to be able to access, to be able to get immediate, and I do mean immediate support. And that support is going to support you when you find yourself in a space to where you need to reverse engineer a pattern or stop yourself from making the same decision that you were making. It is trained to speak like me. It is trained to operate and tell you, redirect you like me. So it's not going to miss. So you don't have to worry about that. And plus, we have our own community on Telegram where we'll be talking, and I'll be telling you, and I'll be right there supporting you. You'll have to share the mechanism, not the story, because we don't repeat trauma. The problem is, and I'm going to tell you something that you need to pay attention to. It tells you that words are spells. It tells you there's power of life and death in the tongue. It tells you, when you write things down, make it plain. It also tells you without vision, the people will perish. Right? So with that, okay, you have to understand that a lot of you are journaling a continuous nightmare because you don't understand when you're writing things down, you're still writing a vision and making it plain, but you're doing it in the form of venting. So you're looping yourself in a continuous emotional battle with this exact scenario because you don't understand that you're creating and continuing to write and reread and go over a nightmare. You're not writing to process. And there is a process in that. And I teach that in another course where words become flesh, because women don't understand. And I need you to realize the importance of your words and your writing, because that's how all these laws and everything are created. These verbal agreements and these written things down have done so many things and created all these cages around in systems of slavery. To be honest, there's no other way for me to say it. All of these systems, the corporate system, health system, all of them, entertainment, all of them, they're systems of slavery. All of them. If you really, really pay attention to them. So you want to interrupt the pattern so you can stop being a slave to anything. You shouldn't be a slave to food. You shouldn't be a slave to men. You shouldn't be a slave to corporations. You shouldn't be a slave to these companies. You should not be a slave to your emotions. You are the ruler. It tells you that you have dominion. You can't have dominion in the world when you don't have dominion over your mind. You mean to tell me your mind run you? You mean to tell me you can sit here and watch Welcome to Dairy, but you can't sit alone with your own mind and let your thoughts roam? That's the real nightmare. In your mind. In your mind. That's the real nightmare. That is the real nightmare. How many days a week will we meet throughout the 4 weeks? You'll be meeting once a week. We'll be meeting once a week, and then we'll be talking on Telegram. That's the real nightmare. Not being able to unhook yourself from your thoughts. And you should be able to. Okay? So these things are extremely important and extremely vital. So we're talking about the pattern recognition lab. I keep saying pattern recognition lab because I got a pattern recognition lens. The pattern interruption lab is going to support you in that space. Stop telling this narrative to yourself and start speaking the mechanism. That's how you're going to get free. Okay? That's how you're going to get free. So we talked about timeline anatomy. We talked about what it means to actually occur. We talked about what it means for you to actually timeline jump. Okay? Now, I have 5 spots available for the pattern interruption lab. The pattern interruption lab is literally like we're going directly in. It's like a surgery. We're going straight to it. No venting, no holding space. We literally are installing something I like to call a circuit breaker. Okay? In your 60-second window of activation, I'm going to also be right there in your pocket in this Telegram group. I love being in the space of Telegram. My community, my other previous communities will tell you I love Telegram. It's so easy. I love being able, because I can do voice notes. I can do whatever we need to do. And I only want 5 because I want it to be really intimate, and I want to see the breakthroughs, and I want women who are for real. Because a lot of women say they want to do this, but they really don't want to do it. And I'm gonna be real honest with you. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you choose, because I don't have to live your life. I don't have to answer for you. But if you know that this is something that is an issue for you, you can't really get to the root of your emotional eating. You can't really get to the root of why you can't seem to move up when it comes down to money. You seem to be stuck in one space. You can't seem to understand why you keep attracting certain people in your space that keep draining you. So how you have a ceiling, which means that you have a pattern, because ceilings aren't real. They're all invisible. They're all invisible. There's no such thing as a ceiling. So the reality is we have a pattern that's in the way, and we have to interrupt the pattern. So you ain't going to do nothing different until you interrupt the pattern. I don't care how much therapy you go to. I don't care how much Shira you watch. I don't care all the stuff that you may do to try to do all these tricks and different things. None of it is going to stick. None of it is going to work, because if you do not interrupt, if you do not break the pattern, if you do not interrupt the pattern, you will not break the loop. If you do not interrupt the pattern, you will not break the loop. Point blank, period. Okay? So the pattern interruption lab is $888. You can get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. You can click the link in the bio to be able to, you'll see the Google document. It's very brief. You guys are going to get your Telegram information. The first thing that you're going to get is you're going to get an email, and then you're going to get your list of 20. That's immediately your list of 20 is what you're going to get. You immediately get in a pattern interruption cheat sheet right there in your hand. Hi, Lovey. Okay. So that's the first thing that you're going to get. Okay. And then you're going to get your email, and then your onboarding packet and all that stuff. So before we start on the 8th, okay, because we'll be starting on the 8th. If one thing that you can do, you can pay $350 to hold your spot. If you want that specific link, you would have to DM me. That link expires in 24 hours. So you could pay $350 to hold your spot, and then you would pay the rest as you're in the program, how that works. So if you're not ready, I'll say this too. If you're not ready for the program and you're like, okay, I realize honestly my issue is that my wineskin is too small. My capacity is too small. I don't have the capacity for a lot of things. I'm really struggling in this space. Then Emotional Foundations is going to be the course for you. Emotional Foundation is basically where we build, how can I say this? We build your skin for you. You know what I'm saying? And with you, so you can increase your capacity, so you can receive and sustain the fermentations of your desires, the things that you really want. Because you're wanting something is cool, trying to manifest something is cool, but sustaining something is completely different, and you have to have capacity. Okay, what I love about Emotional Foundations is $333. You can get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. What I love about Emotional Foundations is this: Emotional Foundations is my first solely audible course. Like, it's completely audio. It's completely audio based, and it's writing. The reason why it's completely audio based, because the women who come to get Emotional Foundations are women who are at capacity. Girl, you don't have the time or the focus to watch another video on healing. You're like, let's just be real serious. You can't digest that. You can buy all these courses, but you really can't digest those things, because you're in a space to where your nervous system is all over the place, and you can't use brain heavy tools such as neuroscience, different kind of techniques and things to try to retrain your mind when your body is not relaxed to even receive that. You have to put your body at baseline first. And so Emotional Foundations is going to put your body at baseline. It's literally 6 modules. All of them are audio. They're maybe like 4 minutes at max a piece. So there are like 3 or 4 in each one, and they're like 3 or 4 minutes a piece. And then you have worksheets and you have workbook. Again, I'm going back to your words, and I'm going back to your writing, because if you want to shift your reality, you have to learn how to go back to the basics. Some of you are writing yourself in continuous time loops. You're writing yourself in spaces to where you're becoming exhausted because you keep telling yourself the same story over and over again. If you want to shift that, if you want to change, you have to reset your capacity. You have to make sure that you can hold what it is that you're asking for. If you ain't gonna do that, I swear, stop holding up the prayer line. Stop going before the Most High asking for stuff that you're not ready for. You are playing a piss out yourself. Like, why would you even do that? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you get introduced to a vibe that you can't sustain? Why would you, that's some real stuff. Why would you introduce yourself to a vibe that you can't even sustain? Y'all be saying it to men, but you can't even sustain the vibe. So stop getting out here in these spaces and you can't sustain. You are causing issues for yourself. You are hurting your own feelings. Nobody is hurting you, beloved. You're doing this to you. Okay? So if you know it's your capacity, emotional foundations is that girl. That's the one to click on, okay? Now, if you're in a space where you're not ready for capacity, you really just need to see yourself. You need to map out and see where you are sabotaging your life and how you are sabotaging yourself. Then click the link in the bio and get the pattern recognition lens. The pattern recognition lens is $97. You can click the link in the bio to get access to it. It is a document that is going to support you in breaking down exactly where you are exposing, where you are sabotaging. Is going to give you a very clear picture of yourself. Now, here's the thing when it comes down to that. If you go and you get, if you already know what you're doing, you don't need to get the pattern recognition lens. If you know you sabotaging your life and being for real, you need to go ahead and either make a decision about foundations or you need to make a decision about coming into the lab directly with me. But if you come in the lab directly with me, you have to be ready to really get that work and really see that shift in your life, because I am really excellent at what I do. I am really excellent at what I do because I don't do nothing but do me. Meaning I am very excellent at being myself. I am very excellent at understanding the gifts that the Most High has given me, and I utilize those gifts to change and transform lives. I have been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it with women for 6 years. I have been changing girls' lives since 2003, because before I got into this, I was coaching teenage girls into women. I know women. I know when women are arrested development and they are still 14 in their mind. I know when women, how we maneuver and how we operate. I understand us. I am us. So you can't get one over on me. And you have to come in here and you have to be really ready to do this work, because I am going to make sure that you see a shift and a change in your life. Because your money to me is pointless. Like I told you, money is the lowest form of currency. It is made up of 75% cotton and 25% linen, baby. You can go look that up on Google. And when it crashes, because it's coming, right? When it crashes, you'll see what I'm talking about. The value has always been in you. It has never been in the paper. Okay? What questions do you have for me? Click the link in the bio to get access. And I'll say this too. Thank you, my love, for these likes, these follows, and these comments. You can only get so much from my lives. You can get ignited. You can become aware. But if you ain't taking action, it's not going to make any difference in your life. So if you really want to see a shift and change in 2026, be real with yourself. How did you start your first day? If you was cool, if you ain't cool with how you started your first day yesterday, supposedly of your new year, because how you started your first day is how you gonna end your last day. Last year at this time, or first of the year, I had just started strength training because I used to be 100 pounds. So I just started strength training so I could build muscle. The last day of the year, I was doing the same thing. What I was doing yesterday, me and my sister was outside working out, and I was getting things shifted and writing things as far as business and writing things down and getting super clear. That's exactly how we're going to be moving at the end. Because I'm expecting huge, large, and big this year, because there's a lot that's happening. There's a lot that's coming. I'm going to be sharing it a lot with the Pattern Interruption Lab. So coming into this space, you have privy into a lot of information that I have that I do not share on these apps for a reason. Okay? We are in a season where women need to be self-sufficient. Women need to be able to create from their souls, because if you ain't creating from your soul, you selling it. If you ain't creating from your soul, you selling it, baby. And let me tell you something. Once they done using you up after you've sold so much of it, they just discard you. They don't even value you. They don't even value you. So understand If you don't implement, if you don't take action, nothing is going to shift and nothing is going to change. So click the link in the bio to get access to the pattern recognition lab if you just need to see yourself sabotage on paper so you can tell yourself the truth, because you're responsible for what you see once you get it. If you get emotional foundations where you completely rewire your baseline, and you learn how to not give your power away. You learn how to manipulate energy, because that's what women really supposed to do. You're not here to manipulate men, sweetie. You're here to manipulate energy. That's how you expand. This is a manipulation of energy, me snapping my fingers, right? A manipulation of energy is me clapping my hands. Manipulation of energy is you manipulating something to the point to where it multiplies. This could be something that's mental energy. This could be physical energy. This could be financial energy. Women are expansive. This is why Adam was sick when he realized he was by himself, and why he was so enamored when Eve finally got there. We multiply, we magnify, we amplify, okay? But you cannot do that if you don't identify. If you don't identify, you ain't doing none of that. You are a disservice to a man. Let me be real clear. Let me be real clear when I say this. You are a disservice to a man when you can't do these things on your own. Don't you get in nobody's life and mess up nobody's life because you don't know how to manage yourself. Don't you get in nobody else's life and then expect them to pick up the tab and the energy and you become a burden. Men don't always be wrong on some of the stuff they be saying in regard to us, and then we just have to keep it real. We just have to keep it real. Stop going out here like you ready for something that you... Stop holding up the prayer line for something you ain't got the capacity for. I'm serious. I told y'all, marriage is for grown folks. Grown folks. Beloved, I was married for 8 years and I realized I wasn't grown. I wasn't as grown as I thought I was. Baby, I thought I was grown. We was together almost 10, baby. I thought I was grown. And I found out I was not grown. Okay? And I got married at 30. You understand? So stop positioning yourself by self-sabotaging. Stop playing yourself by thinking you finna change your life when you ain't interrupted no patterns that keep causing you to do the same thing over and over again. And stop thinking that you are in power just because you quick to cuss somebody out, you quick to do this, you quick to do that. Hi, love you. I'm not in Houston anymore. I will be soon though. I'm gonna pick back up traveling. I took a breather. Stop thinking that. Stop thinking that, oh, you really doing something when you can get on somebody, you can do this, you can do that. You are giving your power away. That's because you don't have an emotional baseline. You don't know what real power is. Okay? But there are 3 tools that can support you. Emotional foundations, you can get it for $333. The pattern recognition lens for $97. And you can come into the program of the intensive, which we are having starting January the 8th for 4 weeks. It's a 28-day tactical. When I say tactical, we right there. We coming straight in. We 28-day tactical. Okay? Intensive that we're going to be doing in that experience. It's $888. You can get it with Klarna or Affirm and Afterpay. Okay? After this, there is not going to be a pattern. A pattern going to hate to see you coming. A pattern going to hate to see you coming. Okay? A fool that think he finna play you going to hate to see you coming. A narcissist going to hate to see you coming. Anything that's trying to disrupt your reality is going to hate to see you coming, because once you can pick up on your patterns, nobody can tell you nothing about you. And there's a freeing experience that happens when you know yourself so well and you free yourself from the shackles of shame, that no matter what story people tell and narrative that they try to sell to other people about you, you are never shaken or stirred, because you can identify with the truth of who you are. Welcome to the year of either embodiment or exposure. May the odds be in your favor. May the odds. Oh my God, today. I wish I could say more than what I want to say. My God, on today, may the odds be in your favor, baby. So don't say, I didn't offer you this work. If you didn't sit on here and listen to this live and receive value, and you don't do nothing with it, you're responsible for it. That's between you and whatever it is that you serve. But if we serve the same Most High, To whom much is given, much is very much so required. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these comments. Very much so required. Any questions? Any questions before I get ready to get off here? Any questions? If it's a question I feel like that one of the products I feel like I have can serve, I'm going to send you right to it. I'm going to tell you that now. But any questions about anything that I've said? But yeah, y'all, 2026. It's a lot of money. It's a whole lot of money out here. But you got to be in alignment to receive. It's a whole lot of love out here. It's a whole lot of stuff that's really out here. The question is, are you in position to receive? Do you have, and then the deeper question is, do you have capacity to sustain? Because you might be in position to receive, but if you don't have capacity to sustain, you might as well never had it at all. Okay? The pattern recognition lens is 97. You can get the pattern recognition lens, the pattern interruption lab, where we actually meet as a community weekly. And these are going to be like, these sessions going to be, they're going to be right. We tearing it right open. Let's start fresh. If we going to pop out in spring and it's going to be real, you're going to pop out in spring with the most confidence. Because see, let me tell you something. Once you know you, can't nobody tell you about you. Once you really embody you, you're like, the opinions of other people, like none of that stuff matters. None of that stuff matters. None of that stuff matters. It literally becomes the last thing on your priority list because you have literally positioned yourself for a top spot. Y'all talking decenter this, decenter your mom, decenter men. All you gotta do is center yourself. None of this is that serious. None of it. You're too attached to the things of this world. You don't realize that attachment, everybody like, oh, I have this attachment style, I have this. Do you understand attachment is a theory? It's called attachment theory. Theory. Keyword. Be careful of the things you attach yourself to because you're not supposed to attach yourself to anything. So when women come to work with me, I unhook them from all of their attachments. They get free. Of course they make more money because they being themselves. Of course they attract better men because they always have options and they're always being themselves. And they always know that it's radiating in the feminine essence always rules and wins. So of course they get healthier because they love themselves more. So they don't feel the need to stuff themselves with sugar because they don't need the dopamine hit of sugar. They are walking dopamine. Because they're that enamored with themselves. They're that in love with themselves. They romanticize their lives so much in themselves so much that it's always a dopamine hit. So when a man says that she's beautiful, she's like, thank you for noticing. Because she already knew. She didn't need him to tell her that. That's the type of energy that you're walking in when you understand the realness of yourself, when you accept the light and the dark of yourself. Because the dark of yourself is, we need to dig that up in order for you to really walk in the light. A lot of y'all walking in pretend light, and which is why we see you walking around with a flashlight. You're not radiating. That's a false light. Okay? All right, y'all. I don't see any questions. I want to go. If you want the link to hold your spot for June 8th, it's going to be $350. Just click, shoot me a DM that says link, and then it's going to send you the link, and it's going to expire in 24 hours. So you have to use it in 24 hours. It's $888, the entire program. You get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay, or you can pay the deposit to hold your spot and then be on a two-part payment plan after that to pay the rest off. Okay. All right. I hope that y'all have amazing weekend. Remember, I will be going live on Wisdom Wednesdays and Feminine Fridays. I will be spending my Mondays on my Substack platform where I'll be hosting the Emotional Wealth Lab podcast, voice-wise for high capacity women to come over there, and we're going to talk about a multitude of things. It's going to be lots of fun. So make sure that if you're not over there, come on over to my Substack. I have free free subscribers that have paid subscribers. Paid subscribers get the juice. Paid subscribers get the strategy. Paid subscribers get the frameworks that can change their lives. People who read just become aware. I will just tell you that where has your awareness gotten you if you have not done anything different? It's time for you to implement the strategy. It's time for you to know what it is that you truly need to do, because you need a system. That's why you're not executing your goals. You're eating fast food after the gym because you didn't meal prep. You're not meal prepping because you don't make time for yourself. You don't make time for yourself because you value everybody else but yourself, which is a deeper issue and a pattern that has to be broken. See, you think you just need to change and do this and do that when you need to. I help you get to the root. That's what I do. I get you down to the root so you have the clarity to make the best decisions for you, so you can really have the desires of your heart. Otherwise, you're going to continue this life playing. Most importantly, playing yourself. Okay? All right. So I'm going to go. Y'all have an amazing, amazing weekend. Congratulations to those who have purchased courses, because I can see them and purchase some things. I will see you amazing ladies in the pattern interruption lab for those of you who are going to be joining me. And yeah, I hope that y'all have an amazing, 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 amazing weekend. Self-care is a key fundamental of every single relationship. Thank you, lovey. It's the key to every single relationship, because you set the tone of how people treat you by the way you treat yourself. You should treat yourself exceptionally well because you deserve it, unless you don't believe you deserve it. And I'm not going to argue with the perception of self, but I would hope that you would challenge yourself to figure out the root of that. Okay? All right.